Hello viewers of Kritika's Vision, welcome to yet another interesting and very important video of my video series of history. Yes, today we are talking about none other than the chapter Union Parliament of Class 10 Civics, Chapter 1 from ICSE Board. Yes, this is a very important chapter and we need to really figure out what is there in it. Why? Because a lot of questions in Civic Board exam is asked from you. Yes, for class 10. Now, before starting this chapter, I would like to request you, if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe, like and comment, as it will not only boost your way of studying this chapter, and it will give me a lot of motivation to help you out in finding how to go about with the chapter of history and civics of class 10. Yes, now to start with, we are talking about the Union Parliament. So in your book, the first thing that is written is what is Parliament. Now Parliament is, as we all know, it's a law-making body. But is it that much? No, definitely not. Parliament is not only a law-making body, it also decides the nation's finance and how the country will run. It also tells about the country. It is concerned about citizen security and living condition. Now, our parliament is a true representation of we, the people of India. Why? Because its members come from every region, community and faith. Parliament thus becomes a symbol of nation's hopes and aspirations. It's restricted to one particular state or one particular part of India or community. It deals with all the people who are staying in India. Now, relating to this concept of parliament, we'll talk about the concept of federal setup. Yes, the next concept which is there in your syllabus is federal setup. Now, the term federal setup means a country where there's a dual government operating simultaneously. Yes, there is not only a national government, a government at center, but there is also a government at its components of states. Now, our constitution declared that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of state. It means that there is a distribution of legislative, executive and financial powers between the union and the state. Now, this is the meaning of federal setup. Now, let's talk about why this federal setup is so important for our country. Now, this federal setup is very important for our country because India is largely a country where we find unity in diversity, diverse religion, culture. Then there is background, community, gender, so many diversities are there. Now, even in terms of languages also. Now, because of this, even Motilal Nehru in 1928, back then he recommended a federal setup for a country like India. So that's the reason we are having this federal setup in our country. Now, talking about the next part, that is of Union Parliament, is what the Union Parliament comprises of. Now, this is one of the short questions that come in exam, that what exactly the Parliament comprises of. So, the Union Parliament not only comprises of the two houses, but yes, the President, who is one of the most important part and a part which cannot be removed from the Parliament. So, these three, that is the two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the President together makes the Parliament at center. Now, let's talk about Lok Sabha. So, the main constituents of Indian Parliament we have just spoke about. Now, let's talk about Lok Sabha. So, Lok Sabha's term, composition, qualifications we'll do here. Now, regarding the Lok Sabha, the maximum strength of Lok Sabha provided by Article 81 of the Constitution is 550. So the maximum strength, that is as per the Constitution, it shouldn't exceed 550. Now, before talking about this, let's also hear about some other name which we give to Lok Sabha. Yes, it's known as the lower house or the house of people. Now, let's come back to the composition of Lok Sabha. So the composition of Lok Sabha is 550 as per the Constitution. Now, out of this, up to 530 members can represent the state and not more than 20 shall represent the union territory. So this is all about the composition of Lok Sabha, that as per Article 81, 550 is the composition, among which 530 from the state and not more than 20 from the union territories is there. Now, you have often heard about that two nominated members were nominated to Lok Sabha early. However, this particular thing has been called off, and since an Amendment Act of 104th Amendment Act that came into effect on 25th of January 2020. After that, this Anglo-Indian membership has been removed. So there is no nominated members to Lok Sabha. Now please take into consideration this very important point. This is confusing because maybe in earlier years when you studied civics, you might have studied this, but yes, now we don't find such Anglo-Indian members. So now let's talk about the effective strength of Lok Sabha. Though we have spoken about what the constitution has asked, what is the restriction in terms of composition that constitution has kept, that is 550, but effective strength, that is actually how many members are there right now. So there are 543 MPs directly elected by the people of India. So this is about the composition of Lok Sabha. Now let's talk about the term or duration of the house. So ideally the term of the house is 5 years. Okay, so the term for which a Lok Sabha and all its members can sit in the office of Lok Sabha is 5 years. However, if it is not dissolved earlier, so one of the points that we'll discuss later is one difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is that Lok Sabha can be dissolved while Rajya Sabha cannot. It's a permanent body. Okay. So now this process, when the dissolution of Lok Sabha takes place, then what happened? Then it's a different condition. It's not a regular condition. So when proclamation of emergency is in operation, the life of Lok Sabha can be even extended by 1 year. So there are two cases in which this ideal 5-year term can be either reduced or extended for Lok Sabha. One that has been mentioned, that during the time when the Lok Sabha get dissolved, then it can be dissolved earlier also. So maybe after finishing a term of 3 year or 4 year, the Lok Sabha can get dissolved. We'll talk about in later videos why it happens when we'll discuss the parliamentary procedures and how the Lok Sabha get dissolved. Okay. Now, however, it can be the life of Lok Sabha can be extended also in case of emergency. It can be extended by a year. Now, let's talk about the next thing about Lok Sabha, which is the qualification of its members. So what is the qualification of the members of Lok Sabha? So the qualification of the members of Lok Sabha, one of the most important one is the members should be citizens of India. Yes, citizens of India are only rightful people who can be elected to Lok Sabha. They must be not less than 25 years of age. So there is an age restriction also, not less than 25 years. Must possess such other qualification as may be prescribed under any law made by Parliament at that time. So this is all about the qualification. However, we also should know what are the disqualification or on what basis the members of Lok Sabha, the people who are standing for the elections of Lok Sabha, can be set as disqualified. Number one, if they hold an office of profit under the government of India. Now already getting a seat in Lok Sabha is a government office. Now a person cannot hold two government office simultaneously, so the person remains disqualified in this particular criteria. Then if a person is of unsound mind, and third one is when the person is undischarged insolvent. Now unsound mind is when the person is not able to control himself, not take decisions for himself wisely. Then how he will be doing that? So maybe mentally unsound he is then, or undischarged insolvent when the person is under lot of debt. Now under lot of debt, why this is a condition? Because when the elections procedures go on, the person who is standing for the election, he has to submit account of all his assets, bank accounts, everything, because some amount of money is required for the propaganda that is done during the elections. Okay. Now, if that money is not there, the person is under debt, then how he will be doing that thing? So, and because of this is one of the disqualification. Now, if a person has ceased to be a citizen of India, and if one is so disqualified under any law made by the Parliament, that also can lead to the disqualification of person or disqualified as a member of either house of the Parliament. Okay. Now, one major thing that is should be noted here is that no person shall be a member of both the houses of Parliament at the same time. So neither can a person be a member of both House of Parliament and of a House of Legislature of a state. Okay. So one house and one membership for that person. Now regarding the reservation of seat and allocation of seats. So basically the allocation of seats, now 543 seats, just now we spoke about that the effective strength of Lok Sabha is 543. For this, during general election or Lok Sabha election, the entire India was divided into 543 constituencies. Now, from these constituencies, each person from these constituencies who got maximum number of votes, yes, not percentage, it's percentage of vote, not the number, becomes the elected MP from that particular area. Okay, so it's population wise. So for example, Maharashtra sends 48 members to Lok Sabha, while some other places like Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, they send one member each. So based upon the population. Now reservation of seats have been reserved in Lok Sabha for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Okay, and the election procedure which is carried out for Lok Sabha is based on universal adult franchise. That means everyone who is 18 plus has the right to vote for the elections of members of Lok Sabha. Now, let's talk about the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now, who is the Speaker? The Speaker is the principal presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. So, he is the one who presides over the chair of Lok Sabha, and all the debates, discussions, speeches are addressed to him. Now, his position is a very important one. Election of the Speaker is elected by the House from among its members by a simple majority of members present and voting. So, just like children in your class, when class monitor is chosen, your teacher asks you to raise your hand, and the person who gets majority of votes become the class leader or class monitor. In the same way, when for the first time, for the first meeting, when the Lok Sabha meets after a general election, then they decide among themselves that, like every party in the Lok Sabha who is present there, they represent themselves by a candidate for the post of Speaker, and the person who gets the maximum votes become the Speaker. Okay, so now the Constitution also provides for the office of Deputy Speaker, who performs the duty of Speaker when the latter is absent or while the office of Speaker is vacant. Obviously, when there is a class monitor is not there in the class, it's the assistant monitor who take care of the class. In the same way, Deputy Speaker is the one who takes care of the Lok Sabha either when the seat becomes vacant or when the Speaker of Lok Sabha is absent. Now, the Speaker of Lok Sabha is Shri Om Birla. Okay. Now, regarding, if we have spoken about the election of the Speaker, let's talk about the removal of the Speaker. So, the Speaker holds office until he ceases to be the member of the House or until he himself resigns his office. So, nobody can remove him like by just showing his grudge. So he ceases to be a member of the House when if he leaves that particular house and resigns from his post, then only he will be able to be moved. Then only the seats will be vacant, the seat of Speaker. However, he can be removed from his office by resolution passed by majority of all the then members of the House. So the Speaker does not vacate his office when there's a case of dissolution of the House. So this you have to take into consideration. Very important point. When the entire House gets dissolved, the Speaker doesn't leave his position. Why? Because he vacates it immediately before the first meeting of the newly constituted House. So basically, the seat shouldn't be vacant for a while also. Now, our country has seen many women speaker also. Like the first women speaker of India was Miss Meera Kumar. Okay, it was during 2009 and she was a she belonged to Congress party. However, in 2014, we got another women speaker, Miss Sumitra Mahajan, and she was a second women speaker of this particular House of Lok Sabha. So now let's turn up to the various functions of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now students, when we are talking about Speaker, obviously it's a very important position that he holds. So when he holds such position, we need to even talk about the functions and whatever he does, whatever his role, and what are the powers that he enjoys. So number one, he regulates the debate of the House. Yes, the Speaker presides over meeting of the House. All speeches and remarks are addressed to the chair. So as I told you, he's the one who is presiding over the House. So he's the one who presides the meeting, and all the speeches, remarks are addressed to his chair. Second one, the Speaker decides the admissibility of the question and all resolutions. So whether a question which is asked by a particular MP should be asked or not, it is he who decides. Now all bills passed by the House are authenticated by his signature before they are sent to the Rajya Sabha for its consideration or to the President for its assent. Obviously, because he is the principal person who is sitting or chairing that particular House, it's his sign which is so important when a particular bill has to be authenticated from that particular House. Now, if any question arises whether a bill is a money bill or not, okay, so we all know that only money bill gets, the money bill is introduced only in Lok Sabha. So who will decide whether a particular bill is a money bill or not if a confusion arises? So it's the Speaker who decides so, and his decision is taken as final. And lastly, when vote for and against a particular proposal has been given in the Lok Sabha. So this, we are talking about a case of tie. Now, you all know that when a particular bill is discussed, debate takes place, speeches are given, and at last it's put for voting. Now, if the number of votes for the particular bill and number of votes against the particular bill are same, then what will happen? How the bill will be taken as passed or not passed. So it's that time that the Speaker casts his vote, and that vote is known as casting vote. Otherwise, the Speaker never casts his vote. Okay, now coming to the next function, which is the disciplinary function of the Speaker. Now, he's chairing that particular House, he's the presiding officer. So like a teacher, suppose a subject teacher comes to a class. So how the teacher is supposed to take control of the class, she has to manage all the discipline and everything works smoothly. So in the same way, the Speaker preserves order in the House. In case of grave disorder, the Speaker may adjourn the House. That is, he might suspend the meeting for that particular day. If a word or words used in the debate are indecent or unparliamentary, the Speaker may expunge such words or proceedings from the House, and the Speaker decides whether there is a prima facie case regarding breach of privilege or contempt of the House. Now, prima facie cases are those cases basically where at first instance, whatever the look of the case or whatever the problem the Speaker has seen, on that first instance, he will give his judgment without going into deep probing. Okay. So regarding the breach of privilege of the House or not, it is he who takes decision. Now coming to the next function, which is the administrative function of the Speaker. Now administrative means the management function, how he manages everything. So he communicates the decision of the House to the concerned authorities. So there is president, there are other people, maybe the other House where he had to communicate something. So it is he who does that. Such authorities are required and may even be compelled to comply with such decision. The Speaker allows the admission of strangers, press correspondents to the galleries of the House. Now, the House is not a place, it's not a park where anyone can sit without permission. Okay, so it's a very sacred place where laws are made and serious discussion goes on. So it's the Speaker who allows the admission of strangers and press correspondents to that particular House. Now coming to the supervisory control over parliamentary committees. Now the Speaker is the ex officio chairman of some of the committees of the House, such as the Business Advisory Committee and the Rules Committee. Speaker appoints chairpersons to these committees, and if the government claims that there's a particular document is secret, so but the committee insists on its production before them, the matter is referred to the Speaker. So basically the Speaker decides whether a particular document needs to be disclosed or not. So I hope till here you have understood that how he regulates the proceedings of the House, takes care of discipline, takes care of management, supervises whatever is going in the House. Then the last one can also come, the last function of Speaker can also come as a distinct question. Now the question is, what do you mean by anti-defection law? So for this we need to know what is defection. Okay, the defection means giving up the membership of that party to which a person belonged or on whose ticket or she has contested an election and joining another party or group. So basically, in the previous classes, when you have studied about how elections takes place, so it's a person can contest election on to get a party ticket. Either he gets a party ticket or he stands in a particular election. Okay. So in such case, when he's getting a party ticket, it is obligatory from his side that once he gets elected, he should be supporting the particular party in the Lok Sabha while voting, while debates are going on. However, sometimes what happens, children? Sometimes the person who gets elected by a different party, suppose that A party, and when he gets that particular seat, maybe he got bribed or he sold his loyalty. So somebody else might have, like other party opposition or some other party might say that I'll give you money, just don't vote for your party or vote for us. So this kind of case is known as defection. This problem is defection, that you are showing that you are not loyal to this party. Now, why this particular part is so important? This particular part is so important because if you don't know what to do, if you are not supporting your party, so ultimately there will be a chaos in the parliament. Who is supporting whom? We don't know. So the particular bill will not pass. Every second MP will be bought and sold. So for them, this anti-defection law had came into consideration, where under 1985, if there's a question as to whether a person of Lok Sabha stand disqualified, the question is referred for the decisions of the speaker and his decision is taken as final. So we can say that the office of speaker is one of a great honor and responsibility and should be carried out with a lot of responsibility. Now that's all for today's video series. I have discussed in this video series one portion of this chapter, very important chapter of civics, where we discussed about what the parliament comprises of, what is the meaning of federal setup. We have discussed about the Lok Sabha, its term, composition, qualification of its member. We have spoken about the presiding officer, that is the speaker, and the various responsibilities of the speaker. I hope you have understood it. After this video, I will also post a small short where I'll discuss the various questions which are very important to this part. Please adhere, please go through those questions. If you want to answer, you can answer and send it on my YouTube channel, or if you have any other doubt, you can post in the comment. Do interact, children. Please be open to all the doubts that you have regarding this chapter. I am here to help you out. Okay, so that's all from Kritika's Vision. Have a nice day. Please do subscribe, like and comment, and do solve the questions which will be attached after this long video in a short video. So this is part 1 of the video. Please stay tuned for part 2. Till then, thank you.